like nothing.
Dr. McKay has a very heightened sense of empathy.
Meaning?
Meaning she's good at picking up on stuff.
You didn't say anything, did you?
Nope. I subscribe to the Falstaff advice. Discretion is the better part of valor.
Robbie has a personal life this season. We get that little bit about him and Noelle. What can you say about that relationship and how serious it is for him?
You know, I don't know what you're talking about. We like to keep up appearances at work. We don't really, Noelle and I don't like to share what's going on behind closed doors very much. You know, one of the ways to show that the character is having a difficult time making connections that are lasting is to show that he's engaged in relationships that are really finite, you know, almost intentionally finite, that he goes into them with the expectation that they will be finite or at arm's length. So he's been having this lovely, you know, experience with someone who works at the hospital, and it's all very grown up and adult and understood that, you know, there's no expectations and lots of freedom. But it's a way of underscoring that the character's having a difficult time attaching.
Because there's a line about like the 7-week itch that he has later on.
I don't think he's a love bomber. I don't think he comes on super strong and then ghosts people. I just think he's only comfortable revealing to a certain depth, after which it becomes, you know, more trouble than it's worth.
I think that's a relationship of convenience. You know, I think Robbie's just someone who's very loath to let anyone in. That's someone who he's let in, but only a tiny little bit. But I think they're both adults, and I think that's really a relationship that works very well for two people who don't want to be almost in a relationship, but want the benefits of it.
Robbie tells Noelle that McKay has a heightened sense of empathy, so she picks up on stuff. But had she picked up on what's going on with them?
I think I remember reading that scene for the first time and being like, what is happening? And then I had to ask Noah about it. And then as soon as I saw it from that prism, it was like very clear. And then when we performed it, it was super clear. No, I don't think that I've completely put it together, but there's obviously something that is either happening in real life or is an uninterrogated attraction that they don't know about. I think it's like between those two things. I'm wondering, I'm like, has this been acted upon or not? What's happening?
Dana, of course, sees everything. And she clocks what's going on with Robbie and Noelle. And she seems almost concerned when she tells Noelle she hopes she knows what she's doing. Why is that?
For me, I felt more like I want Noelle to take her hot self back upstairs because this guy is not feeling well. He needs a break. She's trying to get him to stay. For me, it was just more about like, leave my guy alone, let him go. This isn't time to try to nab a doctor. Just going upstairs, ma'am. That's how I feel about it.
King is pretty much the only one outwardly happy to have Langdon back at the hospital. And in this episode, he apologizes to her for letting her down. How worried was he that conversation might change how she feels about him?
Yeah, I think just generally coming back into the workspace after having been caught out stealing drugs and not being okay. I think there's a lot of shame and a lot of doubt and a lot of there's just a lot of self-doubt coming back in here, and I think it's the work of somebody in this position in early recovery to not fall into the trap of thinking you're the dark, shitty center of the universe, or that you are, sort of like chronically unique in your pain, and therefore you just continue perpetuating this pattern of just like sponging care off of people. And I think he's trying his best to make amends and to not continue asking of people. But yeah, I think it's hard to look Mel in the eye. I think it's hard to look Dana in the eye and look these people that I think Langdon identified as being a role model or strove to be a role model to someone like Mel. And I think it's clear that he wasn't up for the job.
Taylor, we get those sweet scenes between King and Langdon when he checks on her after the patient knocks her over. And she says he never let her down. Is that really true? Or do you think like she just didn't realize that he had at the time?
Well, I mean, they only knew each other for one day 10 months ago. And so I think at no point during that day did Mel ever feel like neglected by him or that he wasn't the doctor he should have been. So I definitely think that's true. Yeah.
Robbie remarks that Dana is punchy. And she says it's her new baseline. Is that just what she needs to be right now because of what you're talking about, how she is coming back to the job?
Yeah, I think she is more defensive. More defensive before and not going to take any crap. Not literally going to take anything. So I think it's an edgier Dana that we're seeing. Yeah.
Santos and Langdon have yet to cross paths. We know what happened last season with those two. There's all the tension. She walks off when she sees him in this episode. Does she want an apology from him? Would she rather they just don't talk at all? Like, where is she when it comes to him?
I think seeing like where we're picking up on his first day, I don't know if she necessarily knew he was coming back. I think the day that it happens is like, oh, here it is. Here's the day that I was hoping would never come. And so I think you're watching her in real time, trying to figure out what she wants from this. And I think that's why she immediately is like, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to leave the situation. I'm going to avoid him because she's still... It's bringing up a bunch of anxiety that has lingered for the past 10 months because, she's very strong and she masks a lot of pain, but it was her first day and he really dressed her down in such an aggressive way that is hard not for anyone to not let affect them in their confidence. And I also think she's dealt with a lot of kind of being the black sheep in the hospital because even though people may not necessarily know the full extent of what happened with Langdon, they still know that he had to leave and I had something to do with it. And I think as we've seen in the world, when a woman is right about something and kind of tells the truth about a man who is beloved, a lot of people do not accept that and do not necessarily respect when a woman blows the whistle on something. Mm-hmm. So I think she's dealt with a lot of animosity in the workplace. And now this is just bringing it all to the forefront on this day of bringing back her first day of being a doctor and it being so terrible. So I think you're really just seeing her in real time figure out what this new version of going to work every day is going to look like now that he's back. Mm-hmm.
Alhashimi knew King before, which I love that she has these relationships with King and Mohan. So what is she seeing in King as she's distracted by this deposition that she has coming up?
Yeah, I think she's seen somebody who is hyper aware, hyper attentive, hyper vigilant, be distracted and kind of taken out of their game a bit. And it's concerning because she knows that doctors with her at her level, her and Robbie and Abbott's level, it's something that you sort of have to develop a thick skin. And it's the first time maybe that she's seeing Dr. King waver. She seems so solid and so focused and so committed. And this is obviously taking an emotional toll. And she wants to sort of mentor and encourage her to sort of stay on it, to try not to waver, and that you're thrown curveballs all the time as a physician. And so you have to learn how it has to be as much of your area of expertise as the medicine itself.
Shavana, it felt like Javati had really settled in and felt sure of her place, but now Santos has told her that the new med students are her competition. Yeah. And so we still have to see her stepping up because of that. So how is that going to be affecting her going forward?
Oh, I love that storyline so much. I think that Javati had a really, season 1, you see her join this new environment and be sort of the smallest dog, I guess, the underdog really. And Santos really needles her. And now I think And Javati's really like, that's really bad. You shouldn't treat people like that. And I think it's really fun for Ogilvy to push her buttons in a way where she wants to bully someone a little bit. Because she can't stand him, really can't stand him. And I think that's really fun. Like their dynamic's really fun. And I adore Lucas. And we had a lot of a lot of fun making sure we were like exactly on the same wavelength so we could both genuinely try to win each fight. It was fun.
Yeah, and the table reads, those scenes were an audience favorite.
Yeah, I remember
They were so funny.
me and him like fighting at the table reads and Lanassa just being like,